Okay, and we are recording. And then Jennifer, you're gonna share your screen, right?
Mm-hmm.
And click
You'll
for
let
us.
me know when, right?
What was that?
You'll let me know when.
Nope, nope. Do you guys want to give it till about like 6:03 to let people come in? Okay. If you're joining us, thank you. We're going to wait a little bit for more to hop on. And if you have a question, we'd like you to submit it to this Google form that's in the chat. And we will do a Q&A when we have time at the end. All right, Jennifer, do you mind sharing the screen, please? Okay, we're gonna get started. Thank you all for coming. My name is Audrey Zanichat. I am a counselor at Amador, and you are at scheduling information night for our rising sophomores, juniors, and seniors. I'm going to have my team introduce themselves before we officially get started, and we will go down the alpha starting with A through C.
Hi, everybody. I am Claire Perry, and I am the counselor for students with last names starting with A through C.
Hello, everyone. My name is Yosari Ponce Rodriguez. I am one of the counselors here, and I have students last name D through H.
Hi, good evening, everybody. My name is Ms. Pacheco, and I have students with the last names I through L. And Miss Bell, unfortunately, wasn't able to make it tonight, and she has students with the last names M through P.
Audrey Zanichat, or Ms. Z, because that's hard to say. I have students Q through S.
And hi, I'm Mrs. Tuig, and I have students T through Z.
Good evening, I'm Miss Yu. I'm the support counselor, and my primary role is to provide social, emotional, and personal support to any student, regardless of their last name.
Thank you. Next slide, please. Okay, before we officially get started, I do want to remind everyone we are recording this, and this will be available when probably next week, and it'll be posted on our website. If you're not able to find it, feel free to email any of us and we can send you the link as well, but it does take a little bit of time to get back. So maybe check back on Tuesday or Wednesday, but this will be here. And of course you can share it with anybody who wasn't able to make it this evening. Okay, so tonight we're gonna cover a bunch of stuff, some stuff you might already know because we are doing our rising 10th, 11th, and 12th graders. So we're gonna introduce ourselves. Probably don't need to do that again. We're gonna go over our high school and college eligibility requirements, typical course loads by grade level. We're going to go over your math, science, and electives, CTE pathways, those AP and honors courses, middle college, balance versus burnout, our favorite topic, for your planning, post-high school planning, college and career center, social emotional support. You'll have a whole thing of links and resources for when this is over, and review at your convenience. And then we're going to encourage you all to look at the spreadsheet that has all this specific course information from our teachers. And then if there's time left, we will go ahead and do the Q&A with the questions that you submit on the Google form, which we'll put in the chat periodically as people join. Okay, next slide. Okay, can't emphasize this enough. If you have specific questions about courses, we actually can't answer all of them because we're not in the classroom, we're not the experts there, but the teachers are. So some of them have video presentations or they have a slide deck. Some of them have live Zoom links. It won't be probably after tonight. We know that you guys get Zoom fatigued. So, but see when those dates are and join them as you can. But otherwise, for the ones that are like pre-recorded, please look at them as you can. Next slide. Our counseling team, I won't go through it completely again, but go back. I do want to introduce, let's see, they're not here with us, but we also have Ms. Bays, our college and career counselor. She's available, Mondays, Wednesdays, and Thursdays. And then we have Ms. Woodworth, our ROP specialist. She also works in the Career Center. She's available, I think, Tuesday through Fridays. And then our registrar, Mrs. Sparza, she's our backbone. She is all things transcripts, and she's our glue. So couldn't work without her. And next, thank you. Okay, so the most exciting subject, in my opinion, or of this presentation, is those course requirements, not just for high school, but for college, specifically the UC and CSU. Other colleges may have different requirements, but if you do meet the UC, CSU requirements, they meet most colleges in the US. So graduation, you're gonna need that 3.5 years of a social studies. That includes your global studies, world history, US history, and then a semester of civics and a semester of econ. For UC and CSU, world history, US history, and you're good to go. English, it's going to be the same, 4 years. So it's all embedded, which is nice. For math, to graduate from Amador, you need 2 years. That's it. One of those needs to be algebra or its equivalent, and then another level after that. So if math is not your thing and you don't want to take any more after that, after you've completed the 20 credits, you don't have to. But if you are planning to apply to college, you are going to need to complete at least 3 levels, and that's going to be your Algebra 1, Geometry, and Algebra 2. And if you want to go beyond that, you can do the recommended 4th year of pre-calculus, but anything beyond the pre-calculus is going to be considered like a 5th level and 6th level, etc. So just think of the math requirement for the UC and CSU as levels. So you have Area D, the lab science requirement. It's actually the same for both the graduation requirement as well as the UC-CSU. However, the UC-CSU does have like a recommended 3rd year of science, and that could be either a life or a physical science, so you just choose. An example of a life science is going to be like biology or principles of biomed, so any of those courses. And then an example of physical science, you're looking at either physics, we have a new course called Earth, Space, and Science, chemistry, that's going to be in the physical realm. Okay, for Area E, this is going to be language other than English. So if you hear me say LOT at some point, it just means language other than English. This is not a graduation requirement at all. There's an either or situation going on here. So you can either take 1 year of a language other than English or a visual and performing arts. So like drama, art 1, anything like that. Or you can take a career or a CTE course, a career and technical education course. So those courses, you're looking at like engineering or computer science. We have a whole host of them. I'd love for you to check them out. But for the UC and CSU, you do need to complete 2 levels. So don't think of it as years, because I know a lot of, maybe you took Spanish 1A and B in middle school. I know that was 2 years, but we need to hit the levels. So once you've successfully completed Spanish 2 with a C- or better, you've completed the minimum requirement. And of course, the UCCSU likes to see that 3rd year recommended level. Next, please. Thank you. Okay, so graduation requirements for the visual and performing arts. Again, it's not required. You can get through Amador without a single visual and performing arts if that's not your thing, because it is that either or situation. So you can either take 1 year of a visual and performing art, or you could take 1 year of that language other than English or that CTE course. Now for the UCCSU, you must have an entire year, and it must be within like the same like realm, like that same subject. So you can't pair like art 1 with drama, or a semester of art 1 with a semester of drama. It has to be either like a whole art 1 or a drama and a theater production. So just make sure they're in the same realm. We've had this happen before, which is why I have to emphasize it. Now we have our CTE, or our career technical education. Again, this is the either or, so you can either fulfill this graduation requirement with the CTE course or the visual performing art or the language other than English. For the UCCSU, this is not required at all. However, many of our CTE courses do fulfill the Area G elective for the UCCSU, so it's still an excellent choice. PE, everyone's favorite topic. At least it's mine, because it's good for your mental health. You do need 2 years to graduate. So all freshmen, as you know, have to take that first year. And then your second year, you can time sophomore, junior, or senior. If you are an Amador athlete, you can waive this requirement with 4 seasons of a sport. If you play 2 seasons, you can waive 5, and maybe you want to take a semester of PE. Or you could just do the full 10 if you end up doing that 4 seasons. If you play a sport outside, some of our students play like soccer outside, or they play, or they do gymnastics, you'll complete an independent PE waiver. It's pretty robust. You have to like include a lot of information, but you'll submit that and you can waive 10 credits that way as well, as long as it's approved. And then of course there's marching band. So if you are active in our marching band, 2 seasons of marching band also will waive that second year. And again, you could take your PE anytime, sophomore, junior, or senior year. If you're not, if you're currently a freshman, you're not interested yet, that's okay. Okay, and then I know it doesn't say it's required for the UC and CSU, but you need to graduate, right, in order to get in. So make sure you fulfill your PE requirement. Health, you just need that 1 semester. So hopefully some of you are either completing it or already have. And then your Area G electives. So you need 80 credits of electives to graduate. And I get a lot of questions, probably at least a few times a week, and I know the other counselors do too, but they are panicked in the junior year, like, how am I going to fulfill these elective credits? Don't panic. Anything that goes above and beyond your graduation requirements immediately goes to the elective pool. So for example, let's say you've taken Algebra 1 and geometry, and you go into Algebra 2. Those Algebra 2 credits are going to go to the electives. They're not going to go to the math, okay? So that's how you fulfill that requirement. So please don't panic, okay? And then, as I said before, 1 year of any college prep electives. So anything from A through F counts for Area G. And then, okay, so grad requirements, you can pass high school D-minuses or better in every course. You're good to go. For the UC and CSU, everything must be a C- or better. Testing requirements, you don't need anything for high school, which is pretty dope. And then for the UC CSU, there are none at this time, which is also pretty dope. Community service, you do need 20 hours before you graduate, and you can begin those hours on the first day of your freshman year. So if you've completed them, great. If not, there are many opportunities for you to complete those. And then there's no real requirement for the UC CSU. However, on the UC app, there are opportunities for you to highlight that if that's something that's important to you. Next slide. Okay, so I need to emphasize this. This is just a typical 10th grade course load. So for you current freshmen, don't feel like you have to be married to what I'm showing you here. This is just something we typically see, and it's going to vary from student to student. So don't stress about this, but this is typically what we'll see. We'll see, you know, we'll have to see English. I mean, that's required. Same with your world history. Now you have college prep, honors, and AP to choose from. Math, you want to get those 20 credits out of the way, right? So you want to get your second year of math in. Maybe you want to start your world language if you didn't as a freshman, or maybe you want to finish it, what have you, or maybe you don't, that's okay. And then maybe you want to complete your science requirement as well if you are currently in a science course. And then PE, or you can do an elective, but it's, in my opinion, it's nice to have PE in 10th grade, but also 11th to 12th. Like I said, it's good for mental health. And then just I want to stress, like I said before, you're not required to take a world language or a science in 10th grade. If you are interested in maybe trying out RCTE courses or a VAPA or anything, like, please feel free to consider doing that. Just, you need to pick what's best for your individual needs and abilities. And next slide. Same thing. I know I sound like a broken record, but this is just typically what we see our students take in the 11th grade. So you have your English, you have to take that. US history, have to take that. And that's either going to be your college prep or AP. We see a lot of students continue with their math in the junior year, but you don't have to. World language, some students choose to stop. This is sometimes students choose to start their world language requirement for the UC and CSU in the junior year, and that's totally acceptable and fine. Some continue with science, some choose not to. And then you get to your elective. So as you progress in your grade level, you have more room for electives, which is very exciting. Next slide. Okay, and this is our 12th grade course load. Again, this is typical, but again, everybody is different. They all need their own individual needs, and everybody has a different goal. And your senior year is like your time to it's like your capstone. It's time to round it out, right? So this is a lot of times we see students complete their visual and performing art the senior year if they hadn't already. Some students really just, they take their language other than English all the way through, or they don't. It's all good. As a counselor, I do recommend, keeping up with your math, really, no matter what your post-secondary goals are, whether you're going to college, Las Positas, or you're going to go work. You want to just keep up with your math because those skills are really important, even if you don't like it. I was never very good at math personally, but please stick with it. And then you get to choose from so many awesome electives. And then of course you have your English and your civics and econ, rounding that out. So I think that's it for me, right? All right, I'm gonna give it over to Miss Perry.
Thank you. All right, so I am gonna be covering your math options. I do want to point out, embedded in this presentation that you will have access to, if you click on this slide, there is lots of video, or there's one video actually, sorry, by Mr. DeVore, who's one of our math teachers, and he goes over all of the math courses, the different options that you have between honors and AP courses, and the recommendations between the different courses and how they recommend you move through all of the sequences. So highly recommend if you have some time. I think it's only maybe 8 minutes long, so definitely check that out. Next slide, please. So definitely as counselors, we always recommend students to check in with their current math teacher. They obviously have had you so far already for a semester. They will have you for an entire year, maybe longer, depending on your grade level. And obviously they know your math ability the best. So if you are not sure which course you want to take next in the sequence, if you're maybe looking to take an honors, or if you're not sure if you should go for that AP course, if you have that option, check in with your math teacher now. They will have the best recommendation for you, and highly recommend that you stick to it. And yeah, they have the best predictors. So next slide, please. So this is a great graphic. This is available on our counseling website. And again, you'll have access to this presentation, so you can check this out again. But it basically shows you exactly the next course in the sequence based on where you are currently. So you'll see, and I'll go through the different options, but wherever you are, it gives you the different options, whether you want to advance in that sequence or not. So this is a great graphic to look at if you are deciding your math course. Next slide. All right, so these are the typical sophomore level courses. We have Math 2, Geometry, Honors Geometry, and then Course 1, which is it pairs with Course 2. So Math 2 moves at a little bit of a slower pace than Geometry, but it is the equivalent to Geometry. Math 2 Math 3, and Math 4. If you take all 4 or all 3 of those courses, excuse me, that will satisfy the UC-CSU Algebra 2 college entrance requirement. So you'll be on track if that's the course you choose to go. Geometry, it's our college prep course. It comes right after Algebra 1. So if you're in Algebra 1 now, that would be the course you would select. But you can also select honors geometry if you are looking for a bit more rigor, a bit more challenge. Maybe you did really well in Algebra 1 and you are ready to challenge yourself and you like math. I would consider choosing honors geometry. And then we also have course 1, which is pairing with course 2. So course 1 and course 2, it is covering 3 years of math in 2 years. So it's obviously more advanced. It moves at a faster pace. And it's going to cover topics in geometry, Algebra 2, and pre-calculus. So definitely more advanced, something to consider if you enjoy math. Next slide. So these are our typical junior level courses, Math 3, Algebra 2, Honors Algebra 2, and Course 2. So Math 3, that's again within that Math 2 through Math 4 sequence. If you need a little bit more time to explore math concepts and you need a little bit more support, that would be a great course for you. Algebra 2, that's our typical kind of junior level college prep course. Honors Algebra 2, again, more challenging, more rigor. They explore topics in more depth and they move a little bit faster. And then Course 2, if you were in Course 1, this is the course that you would choose. Again, covers 3 levels of math in 2 years. More challenging, moves at a faster pace. Next slide. And then, so this would be kind of senior level math courses, Math 4, pre-calculus, honors pre-calculus, and calculus. Again, Math 4, it's in that sequence, Math 2, Math 3, Math 4. That would complete your Algebra 2 requirement for CSU and UC admissions. Pre-calculus, again, that's just our college prep course. That would come after Algebra 2. And then we have honors pre-calculus. This is definitely a more challenging course. It is weighted, so it does, you get the benefit of a grade bump if you earn a C or higher in the course. It is definitely a challenging course, moves at a fast pace, but you have that option. And then we also just have a regular college prep calculus course too, that you might be interested in after Algebra 2. Next slide. So these are our more advanced level courses. We have AP courses in calculus and statistics. So for AP Calculus AB, it's highly recommended that you have completed pre-calculus with a C or higher. Calculus, AP Calculus BC, it's highly recommended that you have completed honors pre-calculus with a C or higher. AP Calculus AB is the equivalent of a semester of college calculus, and Calculus BC is equivalent to a year-long course, college course in calculus. So just things to consider. Again, those are 2 courses that I really, really recommend you speak with your math teacher to see what they recommend you going into and what you choose. AP Statistics is another great course, college level content. It's a great course too if you are considering going into psychology as a major in college. It's a great kind of foundational course, very useful. It's a great course. And then multivariable calculus, kind of the top tier advanced level course. And the prerequisite for that course is a B or higher in AP Calculus BC. So depending where you're coming from, what level you complete, that might be a course that you would be interested in taking too. And I think that is the end of the math. Ms. Pacheco.
Yep, I'm up next. Thanks, Ms. Perry. So I'm going to talk about the science options. So next slide, please. Thank you. So science by grade level. So again, these are just typical grade levels that students take these courses in. Biology, some students might have taken biology this year. Some students may not have taken their life science yet, so they may be interested in taking that next year. There's the principles of biomed science, which is part of the project Lead the Way. courses, and those are taken in sequence. So that's the first course in the sequence. You can take that concurrently with biology your freshman year. And then once you've completed bio, then you can take that in grades 10 through 12. Honors Human Body Systems is the next course in the sequence. And then the third course in the sequence is Honors Medical Interventions. AP Bio is open for students in grades 10 through 12. However, it is recommended that you take bio and chem. Before you take AP Bio as a sophomore, you can take chem and AP Bio concurrently. Priority goes to, because so many kids sign up for AP Bio, usually priority goes to the higher grade levels. So starting with grade 12 and then 11, and then grade 10. And then they also look to see if they've taken the recommended bio and chem courses, or if the student is concurrently enrolled in chem and AP Bio. Zoology is another life science that's available for students. You do have to take biology first. Anatomy and physiology is available for grades 11 and 12. And again, biology is a prerequisite for that. And AP Environmental Science is a 2-period course. One period is considered AP. The second period is being submitted for approval for college prep recognition. And that is available for students in grades 11 and 12. If you're interested in finding out more about the course and more about the other courses that we mentioned, I would highly recommend going to the program guide and reading a description of the course. Physical science by grade level. So starting next year, we are offering a new physical science class. We're offering Earth and Space Science. And that's going to be covering information on the Earth's structure, Earth's dynamics, and geological processes, geology, climate, meteorology, basic anatomy, and formation of the solar system. So I think that sounds like a super interesting class. If you are interested in that subject, it is being submitted for college prep recognition for UCs, and it does count as a physical science for graduation. You'll notice that conceptual physics isn't listed on here, and that class actually is not going to be offered next school year. Chemistry is available for students in grades 9 through 12. The recommendation is that you've completed algebra prior to enrolling in chemistry. Physics is also available for students in grades 9 through 12. If I remember correctly, I believe the recommendation is that you've completed Algebra 2, because there is some higher level math in the physics. EP Chem is open to students in grades 11 and 12. I know we always get questions from 10th graders, can I sign up for AP Chem? So what we usually do for sophomores interested in AP Chem, first of all, it's recommended that you complete chemistry, and same, like I said, with AP Bio, priority goes to students in grades 12 and then grades 11. And it is recommended that you've completed chemistry. We will have a list of sophomores who are interested in adding into AP Chem if there's space available. So if you're interested in that, you can certainly let your counselor know, and we can add your name to the interested list. But it won't be available in the dropdown for you to sign up for. So go ahead and sign up for another class that you would be interested in taking on the off chance that you're not able to be added. I know the last few years there hasn't been space in AP Chem for sophomores. AP Physics is available for students in grades 11 and 12. Again, highly recommended that you complete physics before enrolling in AP Physics. Okay, next slide. Elective options. So as students get older, you have more space and availability in your schedule to take more electives. The great thing about this is that we have a lot of amazing classes for students to choose from. And this is really the time for you to explore the areas that you're interested in. It gives you the opportunity to see if there's a subject area or a major or maybe a job that you're considering that you feel like would be a great fit for you. Now's the time to be able to explore that a little bit more and take a class that you're really interested in. And sometimes you take that class and you realize like, oh, wow, no, this actually isn't the field that I want to pursue. And other times it's very validating, like, yes, exactly. This is what I want to major in. This is the career that I want to pursue. So again, now is really the time for you to look at what you're interested in and take classes to kind of explore those areas of interest. At the same time, you're going to keep in mind that you're needing to take classes that you need to graduate and classes that you need in order to be eligible for your college, if that's your plan after high school, or your post-secondary plans. Okay, next slide. Room for electives. So this is not an exhaustive list, but these are some of the areas that are subject areas where you can take some electives from. So first one is language other than English. So our choices are sign language, Mandarin, French, Japanese, Korean, and Spanish. For graduation, like Nurse Rentcat said, you either need a year of a world language or visual performing art or a CTE class. For college admissions, you need 2 years of the same language. They recommend 3 years of the same language. So if you did like 2 years of Spanish and 1 year of sign language, that doesn't count as 3 because they're different languages. It would have to be going through Spanish 3. If you took Spanish 1A, 1B in middle school, and as a freshman, you are in Spanish 2, that counts as 2 years of Spanish completed. The colleges look at the highest level. If you're in Spanish 3 as a sophomore, that counts as your 3rd year. I saw another question that a student asked was, do you have to take them in consecutive years? So no, you don't have to take, let's see, sign language 1 your freshman year, sign language 2 your sophomore year, and sign language 3 your junior year. Let's say you took sign language 1 your freshman year, sign language 2 your sophomore year, and then you took sign language 3 your senior year. You could do that. The only thing I would caution with that is that sometimes when you take a year off of something, it's hard to remember all the material. So you probably are going to have to go back and review before jumping into the 3rd year. So I think in terms of like consistency and remembering the material from the prior year, it makes the most sense to do it in order, but you don't necessarily have to. And they do look at your highest level completed. So if you were a dual immersion kiddo and you started at Spanish 3 your freshman year, and then your sophomore year you did AP Spanish 4, then you would have completed 4 years of Spanish. So really they're looking at the level completed. For English, we have a lot of fun electives. So there's creative writing, there's debate, there's journalism, there's publication, which is the yearbook class. For your year of visual performing art, if you're planning on going straight to a 4-year college, there's art, digital arts, drama, band, choir, orchestra, photography, ceramics, theater production, video production. You have the option of CTE and ROP classes. ROP classes are usually available for students in grades 11 and 12. A lot of times those courses are offered off campus. And so you need to be able to have transportation to and from the course, to and from the schools where the courses are offered. But just a really great opportunity. Some of the classes are 1 period, some of the classes are 2 periods. You get hands-on opportunities within the class. So we've got an a couple auto courses. We have a video game design course. We have the developmental of psychology of children. So really I would encourage you, juniors and seniors, to really look at your elective options and see if there's any classes within that area that you might be interested in taking. The CTE courses are usually offered here on campus. Some of those courses are computer science, culinary skills, intro to engineering, intro to criminal justice, and sports med. Other courses available on campus, one is leadership. There is an application that's required to apply to add into leadership. You can check with Mr. Weber to see how you get access to the application and when the deadline is. AVID, which I am the AVID counselor, so I always get excited talking about AVID. That's another program that requires an application and or interview process. We ideally would like the kids to be in AVID all 4 years, starting their freshman year, but we are, taking applications for students interested in adding at the 10th or 11th grade level. We actually are having our AVID information night on Tuesday, February 1st at 6:30. So if you are interested in finding out more about the program, I would highly encourage you to attend that night. We're taking applications between February 1st and February 15th. And AVID creates such a nice family feel to it. The students are together ideally all 4 years, and the students in there learn how to take notes, how to study for tests. They have tutorials 2 days a week. When it's not COVID, we go on field trips to the different colleges. So it really is a great and amazing program. So if you're interested, I would highly encourage you to apply. And then there's also PE, and PE, like Mr. Rankat said, it's a great way to get your exercise in during the school day. It's a good stress reliever. In terms of college admissions, they look for 5 academic courses. So you could take PE all 4 years and still be competitive for your college application. So starting sophomore year, you have 4 PE courses to choose from. The first one being athletic PE. So if you are an Amador athlete, you may want to sign up for athletic PE. We have a lot of kids that take that sophomore, junior, and senior year. The thing that's nice about athletic PE is that it's typically offered periods 5 and 6. So if you have an away game and you have to leave school early to travel, that's the class that you usually miss. You're also in the class with your teammates, and you're getting your conditioning done during the school day to help you prepare for your sport. Another option is team sports, and team sports is going to be very similar to the PE class you take your freshman year, where you do like basketball, football, soccer, swimming. So all the traditional sports that you usually play your freshman year. Another class option is weight training, and weight training, you lift weights a couple days a week, and then you do conditioning the other days. And then the last PE option is lifetime fitness. In that class, you do aerobics and yoga. So if you're a freshman in PE this year, I know that the PE teachers are going to go a little bit more in depth in your options for PE, but that's kind of a Cliff Notes version of what the offers are for PE. Next slide, please. Career and technical education. So this talks a little bit about the CTE pathways. And a CTE pathway is where you take a couple of courses within an area that you're interested in. And in the very last column, you'll see what types of pathways are available through PUSD. So art and media, education, energy and environment, engineering, health science, hospitality, information and communication technologies, marketing, public service, and transportation. And through those courses, you're going to learn more about jobs and careers in those particular fields. They usually have guest speakers come in. There's usually a project that you work on as you're exploring different careers and potential majors. Like I said, usually you're taking 2 classes within that field, and usually they're in sequence. So the next class is going to build on the class that you've taken prior to that. And again, it's just a great way for you to explore areas that you're interested in and see if that's maybe something that you might want to pursue in the future, or maybe it's just an area that you just happen to be really interested in. It's always fun to hear the students who have taken those classes and how much they've enjoyed them, what they've learned from them, and then how that's impacted their goals going forward. So I would encourage you to look into the CTE pathways as well. Next slide, please. AP courses and honors courses. So an honors course is going to be more rigorous than a regular college prep class, but is not considered a college level class like an AP class. So an AP class is essentially a college level class taught in high school. So that's going to be really challenging. An honors course, like it says, is going to be more rigorous than a college prep class, meaning that you're going to probably have more reading, more writing, and the discussions are going to go a little bit more in depth. Certainly, if you're interested in the subject area and you want to pursue honors or AP, you're certainly welcome to do that. Some honors courses, actually most honors courses, don't have an extra GPA boost, meaning that, so in a college prep class, an A is worth 4 points for the GPA, a B is worth 3 points, a C is worth 2 points, a D is worth 1 point, and an F is worth 0 points. For an AP course, because it's a college level course taken at a high school, they have weighted grades. And that means for an A, you earn 5 points. For a B, you earn 4 points. For a C, you earn 3 points. D is still 1, F is still 0. So there are some courses at Amador that are honors courses that are weighted. So they still get the A is worth 5 points, B is worth 4 points, C is worth 3 points. So some examples of that are honors pre-cal, honors We the People, honors French 5. So there's a handful of them. For the majority of our honors courses, even though they're more rigorous, and that is one of the factors that the UC and some of the other colleges will look at when they're evaluating your application for admissions. They do look at your level of your course load, that many of the honors courses are not weighted. So you would have the regular college prep GPA scale for the courses. So again, 4 point A, 3 point B, 2 point C, 1 point D, 0 point F. For an AP class, they always have an AP test available for students to take in May of that school year. And depending on how you score on that exam, so it's out of 5, 3 is considered passing. And each college kind of has their own transfer of AP credit rules. So you would have to check with the college that you end up attending. But if you pass it, you may be able to transfer the credits for that class to the college that you attend. So for example, if you passed AP World History, then those AP World History credits would transfer to the four-year college that you were attending, assuming that it's transferable. And then you would get credit for that class and you wouldn't have to take the World History class because you've met it with the AP test. So the thing that's nice about that, it's depending on how many AP tests you take and how many credits you earn, you could start your freshman year, technically your freshman year, at a college and have enough credits to maybe be a sophomore. So there are some advantages to taking an AP class and passing the AP exam. UCs and CSUs only factor in 8 semesters, so 4-year-long classes of weighted courses in their GPA for the eligibility calculation. So they do cap the number of AP grade points that they use when they're calculating whether you're eligible to apply for a UC or CSU. Next slide. Okay. Middle college. Okay, I'll continue on the middle college. So what is middle college?
Sure.
Did you want to cover it, Missy? No? Okay. Okay. The middle college high school is a middle. Okay. So what is middle college? Middle college is a high school program at the Community College of Las Positas. And they have juniors and seniors from the Tri-Valley. So they come from Pleasanton, Livermore, and Dublin. And they take 3 high school courses up there as a group. So those students are kind of in their own little cohort. And they take English, history, and AVID. So for juniors, they take junior English, US history, and AVID. Seniors take senior English, which is XPOS for them, civics and econ, and AVID. And then the other courses that you take are going to be courses that you select through the community college. And you can take the courses that you need for college admissions or other courses that maybe you're interested in taking and may not be offered here at the high school. So it's a program where students who are interested in starting their college career early, but wanting to still be a part of a high school community are students that usually apply for that particular program. Next slide. So the benefits of middle college one is joining an inclusive learning community of committed students, which I kind of mentioned, earning college credits while completing high school requirements. So the other thing that's really nice is that you can earn credits that are going to be transferable to a 4-year college. So you can go ahead and start to complete your college requirements towards college graduation. Exploring individual interests and career pathways. And when I'm talking about college graduation, after you complete middle college, you would take another couple of courses and you would actually have enough credits to transfer to a 4-year college as a transfer student. So definitely has a lot of benefits going to middle college. Gain a solid foundation for navigating the transition to college, may continue participating in sports clubs and other activities at your home high school. So you're still considered an Amador student. Next slide. Ms. Brown, who oversees the program, is going to be hosting virtual info sessions Tuesday, February 1st, Wednesday, February 2nd, Thursday, February 3rd, all over Zoom from 6:30 to 7:30. I think technically the Pleasanton one is on Thursday, but you could go any night. It's also the night of our college night for juniors. So make sure that if you're a junior, you attend that. They typically take students going into the 11th grade. So this is all students who are going into 11th and 12th grade. Are students that are usually at the middle college. They typically don't have room or very limited space for 12th graders that want to transfer in. So a current 11th grader, but this year they said they have a little bit more space. So if you're a current 11th grader and this sounds like a great program that you would like to be a part of, then make sure that you complete an application. Next slide. Okay. I think maybe, is that you, Ms. Tuig?
No, that's me.
Oh, it's Jen. Okay, sorry.
No worries. Thanks, Mr. Chico. Hi, everyone. So we've learned so much about all the wonderful courses Amador has to offer. While we're thinking about selecting our classes for next year, we always like to give a warning to students like, don't burn yourself out. Let's really reflect when we're thinking about our class schedules, because we certainly want students to, of course, challenge themselves academically, but it's also important to be reasonable and not overdo it either, because usually burnout leads to consequences like feelings of losing our motivation, just feeling exhausted and drained all the time. And as we all know, sometimes those feelings lead to not our best academic functioning. So it's so important for us to think about that school life balance when we're choosing our high school courses. We oftentimes prioritize academics at the expense of personal factors like our relationships, our friendships, our sleep and exercise. And again, when we lose sight of that, it tends to lead a decline in our academic performance. As a support counselor, I meet with many students who have sort of struggled with burnout. And it's not great, doesn't feel great for ourselves. And oftentimes that leads to us not performing optimally in our academic classes. So it does tend to, it's a warning sign for students to like really pay attention to balancing our school life so that we don't jeopardize our well-being, because our well-being is super important when it comes to making sure that we're functioning at our optimal level. Right. Here are some things we want students to take some time to reflect on that can kind of help us avoid burnout. So use your middle school years as a gauge, or use the previous school year as a gauge, or in this case, your current school year as a gauge when we're selecting courses for next year. Was our classes too easy? Was it too challenging, or was it just right? Look at all the grades we've earned so far, whether that's in middle school or this current year. Was it better or worse than we expected? And also, how much time did your academic load take up? Did you get enough sleep, or was sleep something that you had to sacrifice? What else did you have to sacrifice in order to be successful in your classes? So these are some things you want you to think about. Think about your commitments as well, because although you all are students, I imagine there's also other things that you're involved in, whether it's clubs, sports, band. Do you have a job? Maybe you're working after school and on the weekends in addition to managing your workload here at school. Maybe you have some more responsibilities like helping your family members. So it's important to kind of think of any other commitments that you have on your plate. And we want to make sure that we're adjusting our plate while we're reflecting. And then lastly, ask yourself these questions before choosing your classes. What do you like about school? And if you take one less rigorous course, will that improve my other grades? Is that worth it for me? What are my priorities here while I'm here at high school? And again, what am I willing to sacrifice? And I hope that that answer isn't sleep. And I hope that that answer isn't your mental well-being. So these are some really important things I want students to really reflect on while they're thinking about their course load for next school year. Students should be thinking of their schedule as sort of an upward trajectory, like the graph on the left, because taking courses by increasing your rigor each year, it really demonstrates it demonstrates your growth. And also it demonstrates your ability to just maintain your grades while you're growing and developing academically here at high school. Well, what we want to avoid is the graph on the right, where there's a lot of ups and downs. There are a lot of blips in our course load. But if that does happen, we want to explore that. We want to reflect and see if there's things that we want to change. Are there strategies we want to implement to ensure that our trend looks more like the one on the left? Not only do we want students to kind of keep in mind balance while they're selecting courses for the next school year, we want students to keep this in mind for all 4 years of their high school career and of course beyond. For some of our students who are not only just choosing classes for the next school year, but trying to map out the rest of their high school courses, keep in mind to select courses that meet your individual needs and abilities and interests in mind. Like, do we enjoy these classes? Is this something that we're interested in? Is this something that we're thinking of pursuing in their future? Because it's your plan. You're the one that's going to implement this plan. So we want to make sure that you enjoy it. And these are the choices that you're making for yourself. We want you to research course offerings using the program guide. Like all the previous speakers before, there's so many courses offered to you. And as you go upper in your grade level, there's just more room on your schedule to select more interesting elective courses. So we want you to really think about what these courses are all about and what the rigor is and what the workload is. So we really encourage you to just do your research before you make that decision. Also, it's important to be just flexible and reevaluate your plan at the end of every year, right? So for maybe some of our freshman students who sort of have it mapped out until their senior year, it is totally okay to also just make adjustments as needed, because maybe something that you're interested in during your freshman year no longer applies. It is not set in stone. You always have the flexibility to change things up and make some changes for your next school year. So we want you to be flexible with yourself. And then lastly, think about specific commitments you may have at each grade level while you're planning out your 4 years. A big one is, as a senior, you may be applying to colleges in the fall. So it's important to kind of think about your senior year courses and knowing that there is going to be maybe something that's going to add some stress and it's going to make your plate fuller during the fall year. We want to make sure that we're thinking of those possibilities that tends to pop up. So we want to make sure we don't overwhelm ourselves when it comes to mapping out our schedules for the rest of our high school career. And just important to keep in mind, your high school transcript is one factor that college admission officers review. So you should give your course selections a lot of thought. They're looking for 5 academic courses a year, all 4 years of high school. And many colleges will recalculate your GPA after your first and second semester of senior year, even if you have been conditionally admitted. So it's important we keep that in mind if 4-year college is your post-secondary plan. Again, balance, we talk about it just now. Are we continuing to do better? Will colleges see an upward trajectory? Are you continually overloading and actually doing worse? Are there blips? Are we able to explain those in the application? So we want to keep that in mind. And lastly, are we taking classes that show what you may be interested in? It's so important that if we're going to commit to a class for the year, I would hope that we go into it really enjoying it and being open-minded about the process and what we do and what we learn in the class. So it's a time to explore while you're here. And we hope that you get to try things out, and sometimes it might lead to some trial and error, and that's okay. Just know that we're going to be flexible with ourselves, and if we need to make changes, we're going to do that. All right, and we highly encourage students to visit our counseling website. It has a plethora of academic planning resources, including sample 4-year plans. There's those wonderful graduation and UCCSU requirements that Ms. Zarenkat was talking about. There are some blank 4-year plans. So there's a template that you can use if you're looking to kind of map out your 4 years of high school. There's that wonderful program guide that provides a lot of the information on what the courses are about and gives you the prerequisites for the courses. There's frequently asked questions. So for some of you who might have questions tonight, some of the answers will also be answered in our frequently asked questions document on our website. There's also information on CTE pathways and our regional occupational program, or ROP courses, the course that that Ms. Pacheco talked about. So please visit our website if you haven't had a chance to do so. Take it away, Ms. Tui.
All righty. So as we are thinking about our courses for next year, many of you are probably also thinking about college. So we wanted to talk just a little bit about looking at building a college list and things to be thinking about and looking for when you are trying to figure out what colleges you might want to apply to. It's never too early to start thinking about these things, and I definitely want to encourage you to just view it as sort of exploration. What is out there? What are my options? What are all the possibilities? Because there are so many when it comes to college options. But no matter what grade you're in, if you're listening, it's a great time to just be exploring your college options. Yeah, next slide, great. So some tips and information on what makes a good college list. How do you know if the list of colleges you're putting together is a good one? We like to say one that's in the single digits. More is not better when we're talking about a college list for many reasons, but you will come to find as a senior that there's a lot involved in applying to college. So the more colleges can make it much more stressful and just a bigger workload. And it's really unnecessary if you've done the research and the work to make it a good college list. So most students are applying to somewhere between 8 and 12 schools. We encourage students to have what we call a 3-tiered list. So about 3 schools on that list that are in the safety or likely category, about 3 schools in the target category, and then maybe about 2 schools in the reach category. Your reach school category should not make up the majority of your list. We also, a good list is one where your safety schools are schools that you're excited to go to. There are so many incredible schools that you could feel excited to go to that would also be a school that you would be likely to get into. So oftentimes we think of, oh, this is my safety school. It's not as appealing as maybe a reach school, but the reality is that your safety school could be your number 1 choice as well. So your safety schools, all the schools on your list really need to be schools that you'd be excited to attend. Your list should have at least 2 to 3 of those likely safety schools, and no more than a third of that list should be in the reach school category. The Ivy Leagues, the top UCs, and Stanford, and schools that we would kind of put in that highly selective category are really going to be considered reach schools for all students, even the valedictorian. It is still considered a reach school simply because the acceptance rate at those schools is so small that statistically it's just a reach school for everybody. So keep that in mind as well. We really encourage you to be focusing on schools that fall into your safety and target category first and most. Instead of spending all of your time researching and looking into schools that would be in that reach zone for you, it's really a better use of your time, energy to be researching and falling in love with schools in that target and safety zone. Every school on your list should meet the student's priorities, and every school should be a school that would make the student happy, and also a school that you as a family can afford. You want to make sure that it's affordable. That is definitely a big piece about a good college list. Next slide. Perfect. So a little bit more about a 3-tiered list. What does that mean? So again, it means that you have schools that are falling into those 3 categories. A school that is a likely or safety school, again, we want about 2 to 3 of those schools at minimum on your list. That's a school where your GPA and your test scores are well above their average. And I mean, so well above is kind of the key term there. You are scoring above their averages. A target or a match school, somewhere between 3 and 5 schools is pretty average for having that on your list. And this is where your GPA and test scores are right there in their middle 50% averages. You're pretty much right on par with that. And then a reach school, again, around 1 to 2 schools ideally, is where your GPA and scores are right at or maybe a bit lower than their average. Or if the college has an acceptance rate of 30% or lower. Again, just statistically, things get more challenging once that acceptance rate is lower than 30%. So that is kind of how you can start to eyeball whether a school is a likely target or reach school. You can find all of this information. Usually one of the best ways is just Google freshman profile, the term freshman profile, and then the college's name, and it will pull up that information directly from the college. You do want to go straight to the source. There are lots of other websites hanging out there that will give you average GPAs and test scores, but they're not necessarily accurate. So you really want to get that information from the college itself. College is such a personal process, journey, what have you. It is about you and your needs. So we really encourage you to try to keep the focus on you and what you're trying to get out of your college experience, and not compare your process to, your friends and your classmates or, your family members and whatnot. So we want you to kind of look inward first and think of some really important questions about yourself to help guide you as you try and figure out what colleges would be a good fit for you. So some of those questions, who am I? What do I believe? What do I love? Whether that's what I love to study, love to do, what kind of motivates you? Why do you want to go to college? What do you want to get out of it? How do I learn best? Colleges have so many different ways of teaching, and there's colleges that are smaller classrooms or larger classrooms or hands-on learning, etc. So how do you learn best? Put yourself in an environment where you will thrive in the classroom. Similarly, what helps me be successful? What are those key ingredients in your life that you need to be successful? Let's make sure that those are on a college campus for you. What subjects interest me, and what activities matter to me, because we want to make sure that you can take courses in subjects that are interesting to you, and engage in activities that matter to you when you are in college. Some other important things to consider, the academic programs that are offered at the school. Obviously, you want them to align with your own academic interests. You don't want to apply to all the UCs if you're dead set on being a nurse, because only 2 of the UCs have a nursing program, etc. So looking at the academic programs, making sure it's aligning with what you're interested in. The weather, it really is something to think about, especially us Californians. We're used to pretty mild weather. So when you're thinking about, oh, maybe I want to go to the East Coast for college, how are you going to do in a blizzard in the middle of December? Definitely be thinking about that. Do you want to be in more of a rural area, an urban area, thinking big city, or more of a suburban area that's kind of, Pleasanton, outskirts of a big city? What type of environment is important to you? You're going to be doing a lot of interacting in college with the area outside of your college campus. So what do you want that to look like? Is a religious affiliation important to you? What is the school size? Amador is about the size of what we would call a small college, right? We're a pretty big high school, and that would be about what on the small side of colleges are. So colleges kind of get bigger from here. So if you want a smaller community feel, a smaller college, if you love the idea of, hundreds of people walking around the quad and kind of just being in this buzz of energy, bigger colleges. What social activities do they have that you're interested in doing? The price, definitely be thinking about the price of the college and how much your family can afford. The political activism or lack thereof on a college campus, is it a more liberal leaning, more conservative leaning? Is that important to you? Do you want diversity of ideas? Do you want, more one side or the other? There's campuses that kind of encompass all of that. Are athletics important to you? What about that school spirit side of things? How far away from home? That is a really important question to ponder and consider. What is the campus culture? I like to say that every campus kind of has a personality of its own. So what is that kind of personality that you feel like you fit in with, but also where you can grow and be exposed to new ideas? What's your learning style? What kind of academic support do you need? Again, we want you to thrive in the classroom. So what are the components that you need? And let's look at what the colleges have to offer in that. And then, can you get in? That's a really important thing to consider. Again, as we create that 3-tiered list, we want you to have a list of schools that you're going to get into and have options to choose from. We also, when we think about fit, we call it the 5 Ps. So 5 things to think about. The person, meaning you, your person. What's your GPA? What are your test scores? What courses have you taken? What are your interests, your activities, your learning style, all the things about you. What do you bring to the table? And what do you need? And what are you looking for? Program is the next P. What, does the college have the majors that you're interested in? If you're not sure exactly what you want to study, do they have at least a few majors that you might be interested in? Make sure that you do your research so you know what academic programs and options they have available to you. And then you want to think about the people that are going to be around you, right? The type of environment that you're in. Do you want maybe a more competitive, intense environment, maybe a little bit more collaborative? Because there's definitely colleges that can fit both of those categories. Are you interested in Greek life or other campus organizations? What kind of interests and passions do you have, and what kind of interests and passions would you love to see in your classmates and your dorm mates, your roommates, the people that you're going to be living and studying with? what are they all about, right? How big is the school, etc. The place is the fourth P. So again, that's kind of like, what's the environment outside of that campus? Where do you want to study? What kind of opportunities do you have outside of that, considering your academic interests, different hobbies that you might have? If you're just an avid hiker, then making sure you're in an area where you can still go hiking. Are you loving museums? Go and do museums, etc. And then again, we come to price. It's really important to be thinking about how you're going to pay for college, the price of the college, financial aid, et cetera. And, you know, just making sure that you can afford the schools that you're applying to. Finalizing your list. Now, if you are a current freshman or sophomore, that you're kind of far away from needing to finalize your list. But if you're a junior, we're moving into that time of your high school career where you need to start narrowing things down more than broadening it. So research, and more research. Make sure you're putting the schools that you're interested in those likely target or reach school categories. So you can kind of assess if you need to be narrowing it down in one of those categories more than the others because you have too many. You can create a ranking system to evaluate the colleges you're thinking about. We actually have a cool ranking system that your counselor can email you if you want that. But research is the main thing. And then these are just some really helpful resources in trying to do that research, build your college list. And so these are all available online. We have Zello through the school district, which is a really cool platform to research colleges, get college matches, and then also kind of research careers and majors as well, and then how those feed into the colleges. So we really encourage you to spend some time on Zello if you haven't yet to work on your kind of college exploration process. I think I'm done. Is that Ms. Ponce?
Yep. So now we're going to talk a little bit about how you could get help if you need it, especially from your counselors. Next slide. So there's about 4 ways where you could get help if you need it. The first way, which we highly recommend, is for you all to attend our workshops. And the way you do this is you would sign up through FlexiSchedule. Look out for emails and also like announcement of what we are offering. Currently, right now, we're hosting scheduling workshops. So that's a good one that students could sign up if they would like help with for your planning and scheduling and whatnot. You could also submit an appointment request using your counselor's booking link, and that is found on our website and usually also at the end of our emails. You could also email your counselor if you have a quick question. And of course, you could drop by during brunch or lunch. We also have our College and Career Center where Ms. Bays and Ms. Worthworth are, and they're amazing. Ms. Bays is our college and career counselor, and she's here Monday, Wednesdays, and Thursdays all day. And Ms. Woodworth is our college career and ROP specialist, and she's here Tuesday to Friday from 9 to 2. So they help students by hosting college rep visits. They plan our college and career fairs. They organize scholarships. They host academic support workshops, and they're also constantly connecting with students to share like internship opportunities, job opportunities, and so much more. So they're awesome. And if y'all want to stop by the College and Career Center to speak with them, they're like I said, Monday, Wednesday, Thursday for Miss Bays, and then Tuesday to Friday for Miss Woodworth. We also have our amazing support counselor, Miss Yu, who was sharing some stuff earlier in our presentation. And she's really here to support students that are having a little bit of a hard time, especially if like their assigned counselors aren't available. She is amazing at helping students out. And we love Miss Yu. Next slide. A couple of dates to look out for. First is our PVA information night. So that's going to be January 31st at 6 p.m. And we have the link linked on there, and you all will get access to this presentation shortly. The next one is our course selection window, which is going to open up February 1st through the 15th, and students are able to add, edit, change anytime between that window. We also have our college night for our current juniors. That's going to be February 3rd from 6 to 7:30. And the Zoom link is also going to be linked here. And like I was mentioning before, we're doing access scheduling and 4-year planning workshops during access. And that's going to be February 2nd, 3rd, and also the 9th and 10th. So please sign up using FlexiSketch, and it's going to be listed under counseling presentation. And lastly, in spring of this year, we're going to be sending letters to students and families confirming their course selections. And then also summer school information will be shared sometime in April, May. So again, sign up for your classes using Q, and students could do this anytime between February 1st through the 15th. So like I said, you all will have access to this presentation, and here's like a quick one slide where there's a bunch of important links that you all could look through. We have information about our counseling website, course catalog, course selection sheets, frequently asked questions, just to name a few. But yeah, this is a really good slide to check if at the end of presentation. And last but not least, please click this slide when you have access to it to learn more about our courses directly from our teachers. So they'll go over like what certain classes are about, what you do and whatnot. So this is important for students to take a look, especially if you're not sure if you want to take a class or not.
Okay, thank you. That concludes the presentation portion. We also have longer like grade level specific presentations for you to look at your leisure. So for 10th grade, 11th and 12th grade. So when this is posted, I believe it's posted now, you can click on those and they'll be available to you. So please check those out if you need more information. The Google form is closed now to submit questions, and we have plenty, and a lot of them are very similar. So we're gonna do our best to get through them as quickly as possible. But if you don't hear your question verbatim, that's okay. Like I said, a lot of them are very similar. So I believe Ms. Pacheco, I think you have the first one. Are you ready?
Yes, I'm ready.
Okay.
So first question is about community service hours. So there's a 20 hours of community service that are required for graduation. You can start those hours starting your freshman year. And then you have until April of your senior year to complete them. It has to be completed in order to purchase a senior ball ticket. So seniors, keep that in mind. If you're on here, or if you're a parent that has a younger student and has a senior, please remind your seniors that they have to get it done by then. There is a list of approved community service organizations, as well as opportunities for community service. I'm going to try and put the website in the chat for you so you can look at it. It also has the forms. Sorry, I'm trying to multitask here. Let me just put it in the chat for you guys. So this is a good resource for you guys. And I think it's going to have all the documents that you're looking for. And then I think I might have the next question too. So let me, yes. So next question is, how can I request a reduced day if I'm a senior? So there is a form called the request for reduced day form, and we need you to complete that. We need your parent to sign it. Then the counselor will double check and make sure that you have enough credits to graduate if you have a reduced day. And then the principal signs it, and if everything is approved, then you will have a reduced day. You also need to let us know if you want to not have a first period or not have a sixth period. I also saw some questions about TA. There's a TA form that you will need to complete. You do get the teacher who you're TAing for to sign off to verify that you can TA for them. So there's a form for that as well.
Okay, I think I've got the next question. it's a question about waiving PE with Amador sports. Do the 4 seasons of a sport have to be the same sport, or can they be different? They can absolutely be different sports. So it's not about the sport, it's more about the seasons. So it's 4 seasons of any Amador sport will work.
All right, I think I have the next question. Somebody asked, what's the difference between AP courses at Amador and AP courses outside? There's no difference. The College Board is the one who, the governing board that creates the curriculum. So it's going to be the same regardless.
Okay, I have the next one. What A period options will there be? We don't know. We have no idea. It really depends on the interest form and a lot of other like factors that we don't really have control over, but it's not guaranteed. I need to stress that. If you fill out the interest form, even if you qualify, it is not guaranteed, okay? So please, when you are selecting your courses, select them as if you are not gonna have an A period, okay? And I want you to be happy with that schedule, and I want you to think of it like in August, you know, as a bonus. Sorry about my kids. I want you to think about it as a bonus if we're able to accommodate an A period for you. But right now we don't have any information about it and what's going to be offered. Just let us know that you're interested, and we're going to do our best to make it happen. But again, please just be happy with your 6 periods because again, we can't guarantee it. Sorry to be a broken record.
All right, I have the next question. So somebody asked, is it possible to take Spanish 4 in the 11th grade and AP Spanish language in the 12th grade? Will I get credit for both? Absolutely. We always say, think of language as levels and not years. It is required for UCs and CSUs to do 2 levels or 2 years of a world language. Any additional years after that are bonus and great if language is a passion of yours, and anything will, you know, those credits will roll into your elective kind of credit pile that you need for graduation. So they will absolutely count.
Okay, I have the next one again. Some friends of mine have been saying they have A push as an A period. Will that be an option next year? Well, no, we're not offering A push during A period. We do have a section, I believe, of college prep, US history and world history. And I think we have A period PE for our freshmen, which is typical, but no APs during A period this year. And then as far as what options we'll have, we have no idea. So I apologize for not having that answer. I have the next question as well. This one is about outside courses. So they're wondering what online schools or courses do we recommend? Do we have a list? Now, this is a very common question and was asked a lot of different ways. So hope I can encapsulate it in one. But we cannot actually recommend any outside courses or any outside provider. Like we work for PUSD and that's our realm and that's what we know. So we can't recommend anything, which means we can't provide a list. However, if this is something you're interested in, there is robust information on our website. And I really want to encourage you guys to read through it because there's a lot of information and there's a lot of nuance in selecting a course not within the district. Like you want to make sure it's UC and CSU approved. You want to make sure it's coming from, you know, a credible institution, a WASC accredited institution. So there's a lot of varying factors, and our website does have very detailed steps on how to do that and like things to look out for. And then also some examples of what it might do to your GPA, right? If you were to take an outside course. So please look at that, but unfortunately we cannot recommend anything nor provide a list.
I added the link in the chat for our non-PUSD counseling course.
Thank you. So this question was kind of a confusion around having to take a fine art. The question was, you no longer have to take 1 year of VAPA or visual and performing art. You can do a language or a career in technical education instead. What's that? I thought that was new. That's weird. So there's 2 things to think about when it comes to visual and performing art. There's high school graduation, and then there are college admission eligibility requirements, 2 different buckets. For high school graduation, so if your goal is to graduate from high school and go into the workforce, the 2-year college, like go to a community college and transfer, or go into trade school, something like that, you're not planning on applying to 4-year college, you can choose between a year of fine art, a year of a career technical education course, or a year of world language. Okay, so you can choose between those 3. If you're wanting to be eligible for 4-year college admissions, you do need to take a year of visual and performing art. So there was some change this year in terms of graduation requirements, but that's the difference.
I have the next one again. Okay, so when should we start enrolling for community college courses if we're planning to take them? I don't know. You really want to look at the community college's timeline. They're all going to be different. I know Las Positas has a different timeline than DVC, Ohlone, et cetera. So you'll want to make sure that you're following the community college's timeline. Typically they want us to sign a form, and when we get it, we review it, and if it's appropriate, obviously we sign it, but you must follow their timeline.
All right, the next question is coming from a soon-to-be sophomore, and they're asking if they can take AP Physics next year. They feel like regular physics is too easy, and they've studied it before. According to our course catalog, and right now it's only open to juniors and seniors, and it's also highly recommended that you've completed physics with a B or better, and that you're also concurrently enrolled in calculus or AP calculus at the same time. So no. Not for sophomores.
A question about turning in PE waivers. Can I turn it in now, or do I have to wait until the end of senior year? When do I turn it in? Turn it in the moment that you are done with the seasons that you need for the credits that you need. So if you're trying to do your full second year of PE with sports, that's 4 seasons, and the second you're done with 4 seasons, please turn that form in. We don't want to wait. There's no need to wait. We might as well be able to check that graduation requirement off for you. So it does not have to be turned in senior year. It can be turned in at any time when you're done.
I have another question about PE and courses taken outside. I heard you can do PE online. How do I do that? Yes, you may do PE online. How do you do it? I don't know. I've never done a physical activity online. Just kidding. Again, we can't recommend or endorse anything. So I believe there is some information on our website about how students have done it and what works for them. So again, I'm sorry to sound like a broken record again, but I really need you guys to check out what's on there, and then maybe talk with your friends, your peers who may have done it. But please review our website and ask around. But I'm sorry, I know that's not what you want to hear. But yes, it is an option.
Okay, my question is, my son is planning to take AP Biology junior year and has yet to take physics and chemistry. Can he take physics and chemistry, the 2 subjects, in senior year? Is this allowed? So the general answer is yes, you're allowed to double up on sciences in any given year. If you've planned it out and you have room for all of your requirements and that's what you want to do, you absolutely can. Doubling up on science is very rigorous, so consider your whole workload, and just make sure that your son has the prerequisites for AP Biology as well.
Okay, next question is me. This question says, I will start doing math all 4 years, but I will start at ninth grade at honors pre-cal. I have done algebra 1 and 2 in middle school. Will this satisfy the PUSD requirement of algebra or equivalent for 1 year? So yes, if you take honors pre-cal your freshman year and you pass it, it validates the algebra. They're going to assume that you've done and passed and understood algebra. You will need a second year of math to meet the 20 credits for required for graduation. My question would be, I didn't notice that geometry was mentioned, and geometry is a subject-specific course for 4-year college admission. So even if you went through multivariable, if you didn't take geometry, you wouldn't be eligible for 4-year college. The other thing with the geometry is that the earliest that you can take it is 7th grade. So I'm not sure if you've gone through all those levels. If you haven't taken geometry, you're going to want to make sure that you take it. If you did take geometry, but you didn't list it, you want to make sure that you didn't take it any earlier than 7th grade. Otherwise, it doesn't count for college admissions. And then again, you had mentioned that you are going through math all 4 years of high school. So it's good to continue on the math to keep those math skills up. And one of the factors that some of the colleges look for college admissions is whether you've taken a math your senior year. So, you know, if you're accelerating too much, then some of those factors won't be available to you. And we want to make sure too that you have a good foundation as you're going forward. So a couple things to keep in mind. Next question, actually next 2 questions are mine. So does Earth and Space Science meet UC CSU D requirement for science? So I actually went on the UC and CSU websites to paste it in. So I'll read to you what they said. I should mention that the Earth and Space Science class is a new class for us. And so anytime we have a new class, we do have to submit it for UCs for approval. So it's pending, but it will be submitted as a D requirement, which is the lab science requirement for UC-CSU. UCs, what it says for the science D requirement, 2 years of college prep science, including integrated topics that provide fundamental knowledge in 2 of these 3 subjects, biology, chemistry, or physics, 1 year of approved interdisciplinary or earth and space science. So there it is. Coursework can meet 1 year of the requirement. So as long as it goes through that process and gets approved, yes, it would count. They continue on for the UCs saying computer science, engineering, applied science courses can be used in area D as an additional science for 3rd year and beyond. For CSU's lab science requirement, it's a 2 years of college prep science required with laboratory, 1 biological, 1 physical. Integrated science and interdisciplinary courses can meet this requirement. So it sounds like for the UCs, as long as it's approved through the process, it would count. And it does count as a physical science. So that should meet the CSU requirement also. Next question, I'll be doing all 4, let's see. Did I already answer that one? I think actually that's the same question. So I don't have to answer it again. So Claire, I think the next question is yours.
Yeah. So the next question is, am I allowed to take AP Psychology in 11th grade? And the short answer is yes, you can. It's a great class and I encourage you to take it.
Is that it? We good?
Claire has one more question, Amy.
Oh, there's one more? I missed it.
Yeah, sorry. My next question is, let me get down here. Can I take AP Computer Science as a sophomore? Yes, you can. However, it's definitely recommended that you earn a B or higher in computer science principles first, but you can sign up for AP Computer Science if you'd like.
And then I have one more question. I have a student who said, this semester my grade dramatically dropped and it hurt my GPA. I know I can handle my courses and I believe I will be able to bring back my GPA up once again. I love that confidence. But for choosing classes, should I take the risk of taking advanced classes again? This is a very great question. I'm going to try to be as succinct as possible, but I would just really want you to think of, again, you know, I talked a lot about balance and burnt out, and I just want you to kind of reflect on like, okay, what happened this year? Like, I know I didn't do so well. Are there things that I want to be implementing? Are there supports I need? If I do decide to take advanced classes next year, what would my workload look like? And then ultimately, I would highly encourage you to talk to your current teachers, because I don't know how you are in your classes, but your teachers will have some insight on, how much effort you've given in your classes, how are your capabilities. So they might be able to have conversations with you about, hey, how prepared are you for this advanced course next school year? So I would just really encourage you to talk to your teachers. And there's gonna be a risk, I think, when we're choosing our course selections, but I want you to feel good going into it next year if this is a decision that you make, but I want you to make an informed decision. So I want you to put some thought into it.
That's a great question to close out with. Please consider balance when you select your courses on February 1st. So that concludes this. I know that maybe some answers didn't get, or questions didn't get answered. But please, again, review our website and maybe review this presentation just to make sure maybe we didn't miss your question, but of course you can always email one of us. And I also want to remind you to check out the course specific information that was developed by our teachers. It's a spreadsheet, it's pretty organized. So at your leisure, please go ahead and look at that. Don't forget, our course selection window does open on February 1st through the 15th, as will the 8-period interest form. And then Ms. Pacheco, will you remind me of the Avid night? I'm sorry, I didn't.
No, that's fine. Avid night is Tuesday, February 1st at 6:30.
Okay. We also have the Pleasanton Virtual Academy information night that's coming up on January 31st, also virtual, so hopefully convenient. Can't think of any other reminders, but
Avid applications due February 1st to the 15th.
Great, thank you. And then the interviews are the first week of March?
Last week of March.
Last week of March. And then we also have middle college. There is information on our website about that. There's a big button. So please check that out. I believe the applications are opening in that same February 1st through 15th. So those are your 2 weeks to get all that done. But I think that wraps us up for tonight, unless I'm missing anything. If not, thank you for tuning in. This will be available sometime next week, probably Tuesday or Wednesday. It'll be available on our website, and the presentation is without us is available now. Thank you. Have a great Friday, a great weekend, and see you soon. Bye.